Good evening again, everyone, and football greetings to you and yours. Derek Wark, Big D, CPHS, Channel 6, EBW.TV, Vimeo.com as well. Well, let me ask you this. Are you ready, folks? Tonight is a big one. The Romeo Bulldogs come into town. They come in at 3-3, but 2-1 in the MAC. What's so significant about that? The MAC White? Well, Big Reds come in at 3-0. That means simply, with everybody else at 1-2 in the division, if the Big Reds win tonight, they will be the 2014 MAC White champions. But let's not count our chickens before they're hatched, folks. This is a very good Romeo team, particularly on the defense. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, on controlling your own destiny, that's exactly what this Big Red team needs to do. They need to take care of business tonight, win on their own. They don't want to have it so that next week decides the MAC White with Romeo going and winning or losing on their own. You want to decide it in your own game, and that's what I think they'll do tonight. Now, good defenses in this game. Romeo comes in very strong defensively. So I think that what the Big Reds need to do really is mix it up a lot. Be dual threat a little bit more. They're a rush-dominant offense. They also need to pass a bit. I think you really got to get right in the leads involved and get them involved early. Devon Washington, this is a great tailback. And let me tell you, BigDSports.info, I talked a lot about this kid. He's big, he's buff, he's rough, he's tough. He runs physical, and this is the kind of kid, the reason why he is such a special talent, I think he runs with the kind of passion that this team tries to play with. You know, the kind of hard-nosed, aggressive nature that says, hey, I'm not going to go down without a fight. That's exactly how the Red Wrath will beat you. And finally, folks, this is the bottom line in this football game without question. We owe the Romeo Bulldogs. The last 2 years that Romeo has played the Big Reds, basically 2 losses. The infamous kneel, won't talk about that anymore. And obviously last year they outgained them by 100 yards and still a loss. So the Big Reds owe this team badly. They've outplayed them. I think this team has the kind of talent where they outplay them again. They're going to get the victory tonight. Are you ready, Big Reds? Prove it to me. MAC White 2014, possible championship, walking home with it tonight again. It's not just, the fans here. It's the entire city of Port Huron behind you. And what the heck? Big D's behind you, Bloodhound behind me. He's behind us. Let's get nasty, Port Huron. Big D back in a moment. Romeo, Romeo, where art thou, Romeo? Well, at this stage, they're currently second place in the MAC White. But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is of the east, and Port Huron is the sun. Tonight, a victory would gain the Big Reds the outright MAC White championship, an automatic playoff berth, and the right to finally say that they beat the Romeo Bulldogs, something the Big Reds have been unable to say the last 2 years, despite, as mentioned, they outplayed them both times. How fares the Big Reds, that I may ask again? For nothing can be ill if Port Huron is well. So, where art thou, Romeo? Tonight they're in Big Red country, about to face our Red Wrath. Good evening, everyone. Derek Wark, the Big D. Well, folks, you ready? Here we go. Whether you choose to quote Romeo and Juliet or not to honor Romeo in town, either way, indeed, this is it. There is no bigger game on the schedule this season for the Port Huron High Big Reds. You could argue Martin Luther King in town, and, obviously last week Warren Mott in town, but as for MAC White implications, as for your division rival, there's nothing bigger than the one we're about to see here tonight at Memorial Stadium. Again, a production of CPHS Channel 6, the Port Huron Area School District television station, EBW.TV, Vimeo.com, where Channel 6 is also located, and of course, Derek Wark, the Big D, just about to get underway. Both teams about to take the field on this Parents' Night. Always nice to see the parents out there with the players before the games get underway. I believe, based on looking at the toss out there, the Cub come in the booth there, and he was wondering what I was looking at. While I was watching the toss, I think Romeo won the toss and deferred to the Big Reds, so I believe they're going to be starting on offense, but we'll see. As the game goes along, I expect it to be hard-nosed. Again, defense versus defense, and we'll see. There's talk about the Big Reds possibly opening up their offense in this game a little bit more passing to kind of toy with Romeo, who I think is going to be expecting the Big Reds, without a doubt, to come into this game as a rush-dominant team. And why wouldn't they? I mean, it works for the Big Reds. Sometimes if it's not broke, you just don't fix it. Anyway, Big Reds 5-1 overall, 3-0 in the MAC White. As mentioned, a win tonight gives Port Huron their third division title in 4 years. It would be their second Mac White title in that time span. Romeo, on the other hand, 3-3 overall, yet 2-1 in the Mac White. They were 7-4 last year, including one playoff win, yet 3-2 in the Mac Red a season ago, so they moved down from the red to the white. Big Reds might have something to do with that too, I think, as Romeo loves this rivalry, as do the Big Reds. I love that fact about the Big Red schedule this year. They honor rivalries. They've picked up some nice rivalries. Mott and Romeo as well, to name a few. They certainly seem to own the Big Reds. Close games, barely wins. This is one the Big Reds have got to have. And on that note, are you ready, folks? Possible Mac White championship tonight. Prove it to the Big D. Let's get nasty, Port Huron. Washington takes it on the run at the 12. 15 quickly. 20, 25. Goes through down 29. Pretty good yards after the initial tackle. 42 among tacklers for Romeo. Jacob Herndon. So the Big Reds and their talented offense come out. Again, predominantly a rushing offense led by 7. D'Angelo Sanderson Jr. Lots of great overall talent. He doesn't get rattled. He's tough to tackle, but mostly he's a winner. Devon Washington, number 4, incredible this season, breaking tackle, being a load of a tailback, to say the least. Other names, 39 Lynch, Alex Washington, 14, Colin Vanny, 5. They all are decent in their own way. Randall checks in, 44 as a tight end, does a lot of blocking, or at least he has this season. Back to pass on 1st and 10. There you go, early pass. 35, brought down at the 35. That is Tremaine Lee. A guy I'd like to see really get going because he's got a lot of ability. And if Romeo is going to play off him, boom, hit him, just like that. Simple as that. Half the distance brings up 2nd down and 5. 6, Bobby Wright, and the Lees, 12. Tremaine just caught that one. Jake Lee as well out of the slot, 21. Round out the group of talented wideouts. A group that's seldom used, but they can flat out do the job. 2nd and 5, play fake, but they don't buy this one at all. It's a sack, Jack. Sanderson Jr. falls, and you've got a ton, a whole horde of Romeo tacklers. This is a good defensive team. Brandon Salva, number 12, on the tackle, or among them, and it'll bring up 3rd down off the sack, a loss of 2. Well, the defense for the Romeo Bulldogs, a strong defensive unit that has had some dominating games this year, just like PH. 3 wins, they've given up just 7 points total to Utica Ford, and Lance Cruz. A throwback screen to this side. Tremaine lowers his head. That's going to be close, depending on the spot, and I think they're going to have the 1st down. Well, you set it up to one side, you look back the other way, you gun it out to Lee. It develops late, but on purpose it develops late. And yes, indeed, 1st down, Big Reds. What a huge play in the early going for them. And again, that gets back to Sanderson Jr.'s composure. Nothing rattles the kid. He's beyond his years, without a doubt. In motion is Randall this time on 1st and 10. Power set. Give, not much, going to be lost yards at the 41, maybe 42. Devon Washington can't get through that time. It brings up 2nd down. Well, they're led up front by defensive tackle, Ball State commit, Matt Doan, number 75. Of course, talking about Romeo here. Their best linebacker is actually a 3-year varsity player, and 44 Nathan Connor, too. So you can bet he's a talented kid. Also some talent in the defensive backfield, corner Brad Tanner, number 21. Strong safety as well, number 8, Lucas Scheinman, lead the way on the back half for the Romeo Bulldogs. Timeout to tie that guy I just talked about. His shoe, Brad Tanner. Boy, those officials. They're not paid enough, are they? Not only are they calling a game, they're tying players' shoes. 2nd and 12 from the 38. Just under 10 left in the 1st. Just underway. Passing in the flat. Dives forward again. Got about 3 or 4, but it's going to bring up 3rd and long. Fine defense. They jump right on Bobby Wright that time. Number 10, Cade Messner on the tackle. It's a good rush defense, first and foremost, from Romeo. So knowing that, this is exactly what you do. Lots of screens, lots of passes in the flat. Get the wideouts involved, and don't be afraid to use tight end Raven Randall, too, as more than just a blocker, believe me. 3rd down and 8 from the 42. They send the man in motion. It's a play fake to right. Over the middle to Raven. No. pass is going to be overthrown, and the Big Reds are going to have to punt. I think that might have been the best throw. It looked like Raven was covered downfield there. Double covered at that. It's going to bring up 4th down. So an early look at the Big Red offense. Romeo looked very good defensively on that drive number 1. We'll see what the Big Red Wrath defense can do here, as you see some of the fans still coming in too. We expect a good crowd, and why not? Anytime you might be able to bring home the Mac White Trophy, you can expect a good crowd, at least on this side. Here's the punt. Kleba, good one. Forward spin, no, bad bounce. Big Red's going to down it, though, at the 26, and Romeo will begin from there. Well, the Romeo Bulldogs say their team's strength is their skill position players, also a solid kicking game, and on defense, a deep linebacking core. This is their offense, led by number 11 quarterback Paul Hurley. He became the starter at the midway point last year and never really looked back, including a first-round playoff victory. Led on the offensive line by 6'1", 305-pounder. Again, it's that guard I was telling you about. Ball State commit 75 Matt Doan, 3-year starter on both sides of the ball. And again, Ball State, so nice. Other names to mention here in just a moment. Run formation the whole way here. They're in the eye. Give immediately, brought down immediately. Mason, secondary tackle, coming off the initial one made by Iwanski. And also down there is Wardlow, the madman from last week, who was my defensive player of the game. Nice sign there, too, with the secondary coming up to make the tackle. Unafraid to get in there and get involved early. 2nd down and 8. They got 2 on 1st down. Give again. Met hard again. Raven down there among tacklers. Hudson as well over there. Iwanski is in the mix again. Good first couple of plays from number 1. 3rd down and 8. Big play. Basic play calling so far. Just 2 right up the gut runs. No wideouts to show for it either. Nobody lining out wide. On the outside, by the way, they're led by junior wideout Brad Tanner, 21, the good defensive back I just told you about, and the main tailback listed as 8, Lucas Scheiman, who's the lone setback right now on 3rd and 8. They've got wideouts this time. Passing Hurley, looking over the middle, and stepping up, good defense, Wardlow, flag first. But we'll see, but either way, good job, Brandon. Knocks the ball down. So far, both defenses look dynamite, and the big fella down there in the truck, E.J. Shea, was telling me before the game, Big D wins championships. And he wasn't talking about me. He was talking about big defense as well. No kidding. And both of these two teams, believe me, they've got good defensive play. Some gentlemen from the back, I'm sure they're thrilled to death to have that taken. Father of the Raven among the gentlemen up there. I think that's him right there. Lots to say as always before the game. There he is, yup. Proud as you know what a Raven, and rightfully so. There's the rest of them up there. With the Bloodhound and I think Cubs on the roof there getting that shot as well. Well, 4th down. After Romeo forced the Big Reds in punting situation, now the Big Reds have done it to Romeo. Monkey see, monkey do. Romeo now off the punt. And Big Red sends somebody, partially blocked by, I think, Tayson Winters. It rolls at midfield. Great field position coming for the Big Reds. That is an excellent job. Maybe we can get a replay on that one to see who partially blocked it, but I think Tayson Winters got in untouched, and he got a piece of it. And the one thing you want to make absolutely sure of when you're coming after him like that, just the ball and get out of the way. Don't fall into him. Don't let him fall into you and fake it. Yeah, untouched completely there. Was that Winters? I thought it was Tayson, but either way, that's doing it. Big Reds, great field position now inside Romeo territory. 1st and 10 from the 48 for Sanderson Jr. and company. They've got 2 wides, right in motion. The reverse try with right, but no can do. Escaping tackle, hits a blocker, and he's going to be caught for a loss again. Actually ran into the Raven that time. Brings up 2nd down. Strong defenses like this, they're not fooled by fakes and all the rest of it. They've done their homework. They figured this is the way we're going to beat this team. And I would agree. You have to make the Big Reds pass the football. That's the way to make them beat you, really. If they're going to, you got to make them beat you that way. A rush power offense. You can't let them get any rush yards. That's all there is to it. Easier said than done. Fake option this time. Sanderson might have got back to the original line of scrimmage here, and that'll bring up 3rd down and about 10. Again, it looks like the only thing open for the Big Reds are these short passes right now, and even that looks like it's getting minimal yards. Defensively, these two defenses match up very well. It's going to be a tough game. Romeo did lose to Grosse Pointe South, I believe, earlier in the season. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but Grosse Pointe South moves the ball no matter who they play. That's a good offense with the Blandsies, but one of the few teams that has moved the ball on Romeo, especially Mac White teams that have done it. Sanderson Jr. back to pass. In the hands of Bobby Wright, goes down. It depends where they mark it. It looks just shy from here, but you know the Big Reds are going to go for this without much fear. Coach Mullins seldom punts the football. There's Bobby Wright. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. Come on down, Bobby. What did I tell you beginning of the broadcast? Open up your offense more. Get some passes going. Get it done early. Develop these guys. Get them hot because you may need them come the 4th. I expect a low-scoring affair. We'll see. Run formation again. 3 backs. Vanny in motion. The give. Devon Washington. Here he goes. Breaks through. 35 down 34. And it's a 1st down, Big Reds. You're sending Vanny to the left and nothing special. Power blocking. Vanny leads the way, and so do the other tailbacks. And also, you know, tight ends. Left side overloading. There you see Randall blocking ahead of them, too. Well, that's just a great power block there by 39, Devin Lynch. Give me a break. Lynch bowled him right over. That's good stuff. From the 34, 1st and 10. That is flat-out power blocking there. Vanny, not much. Maybe lost a yard. Among tacklers, 42 gets up there with some oomph. Jacob Herndon again on the stop. There you see the Bloodhound. Got a nice coffee. He brought me a coffee, actually. And yeah, he likes it. He's sipping it. Good caffeine. Keep that guy awake up there. He's been known to fall asleep on the job, as we saw a couple of times there last year, so he's got caffeine now. To pass again, 2nd and 11. Over the middle. It's going to be intercepted. 18 down 19. Number 8, Lucas Scheiman. Defensive back I listed as their big one to watch, and rightfully so. There it is. That's the problem with a team that is unfamiliar with a consistent passing game. It tends to happen. This is a good defense. They're going to have struggles like this. The Big Red offense is throughout this game. It's a matter of overcoming it. And again, like I said beginning of the broadcast, the Red Wrath has got to step up in this game. They've got to prove that they earned that nickname from the Big D, and I actually have no doubts they will. 4 wide this time, 3 on the far one near, and 1 running back. Hard count, tried to get him on the snap, couldn't do it. Hurley switches plays, audibles out. Tight coverage from the Big Reds this time. Shotgun. Laid off him, 30, caught. Down right there, Tanner. And close to the 1st down. Well, he's a good one, and they might not want to play so far off of him in knowing he is. Well, did they call the 1st down here? Yes, they did. Okay, 1st down from the 30. Boy, they were late to move the chains and signal. Besides back-to-back shutouts earlier this year, the claim to fame of this Big Red unit is that no team has rushed for 100 yards on it yet. And again, they are simply the Red Wrath. Going to name some of the names on that defense in just a moment. But first, 1st and 10, 31 off the catch a moment ago. Hurley, option pitch. A few yards. This might be roughing the passer on Hudson. I think it's going to be. Good defense, Red Wrath. It's not going to matter. Hudson leveled Hurley, and he's pointing that way. It is. It's going to be roughing the passer against the Big Reds. Anyway, defensive line, we know all about these guys. 68 is Lawrence Brown. He's dynamite. Trevino is flat out dominant. 56. As talented as any tackles I've seen this team have in years. 9 is Curitin. 85 is Hudson. They round out the ends nicely. No weaknesses in this area. Nowhere, as far as I'm concerned. 44, Raven Randall, linebacker. Good game last week by the Raven, too. I was telling Father of the Raven that earlier. He says, you got her, Big D, you got her. Zach Kleba, 11, 55, Swift. Other names you'll hear. Quade Croach might step up, play either linebacker or defensive back. 2, Mason, 13, Brown, 1, Iwanski, 3, Tayson Winters round out the names. For the Big Reds and their 11-man unit that has done a great job up to this point this year. One of the big reasons they are 5-1. After the penalty. From the 47 now of the Big Reds. Romeo operates going left to right on your screen. 4:10 to go in the first. Immediate give. Try to go behind center. Hudson the tackle, dragged down after a gain of 3. That's 8 again. The gentleman who got the interception a moment ago, Lucas Scheiman. Well, last week, an absolute dominating game. Let's be honest. The Big D was shocked in an insane sort of shocked way. Well, this is flags all over the place against the Big Reds. Possibly illegal substitution here. Either way, it cost them. Well, it's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct. Another personal foul. They have killed themselves with penalties in this drive. 30 yards on personal fouls. So an automatic first down. Anyway, shocking last week. 34-14 over Mott. But they were slow to start in that game too. So if this game tonight you're already getting worried, Big Red fans, don't be. This team is notorious for starting slowly. Last year's team certainly was. No different here, believe me. 2 wide in the far, 1 near and 1 back. Shotgun look again. Paul Hurley on 1st and 10 from the 29. It's a stutter step. Goes behind the right guard. Battered down hard. Tons of Big Reds over there. Iwanski again. And Hudson, who looks good in the early going. And Dominic Trevino gets up last from that pile, as we've so come to expect. Is that the Vox? That could be the Vox. By the way, the Ox, not the Vox, is getting married tomorrow. So congratulations, Sean Went, wherever you are. And I hope you don't have pre-wedding jitters. I think the wife indicating she might. But not all ladies get to marry oxen, do they? Passing the flat. Winters, nice tackle. That's perfect in the open field. If Winters does not make that tackle, he's got a first down. Great trip up tackle. Don't let him slip by. That's how you do it. And it's 3rd down now and about 4, I would guess. But yeah, Ox getting married tomorrow. Sean Went. He's going to miss a couple weeks after this one for the honeymoon. His wife wouldn't let him get away with coming here for the honeymoon at Memorial Stadium, so he's going to go somewhere respectable. And good luck to the Ox, man. No birthdays today to announce. I said, well, Ox getting married, that's like a birthday, and Shelly Sinek piped in. No, it's like a funeral. Well, I don't know how Ed Sinek felt about that, but there you go. 3rd and 3 anyway. Here come the blitz. Big Reds. Cross screen. Works. First down. Inside the 15 to the 14, maybe the 13. It's a little stutter step one side after the catch, and then he goes the other. But basically, no matter without the step, he still had lots of yardage on this. This is a sign how penalties hurt you. Yeah, lots of blockers. Look, there's 5 blockers ahead. You know you're going to get yards when you see that. 84 the reception, by the way. Mitchell Heimbuck of Romeo. From the 13 now, 1st and 10 on a drive where Romeo has gotten a lot of gifts from the Big Reds. This Magic defense has gotten turnovers all year long. Is it too much to ask to think they can do it again? Another short pass across the way, Tanner. Well, I think basically what that play call was for was to get Tanner more across the field to the right. More of a slant screen again kind of a thing there. Tanner to about the 6. I think they need to get to, what, about the 4-yard line by the looks of things to get a first down? They're saying 2nd down and 3, okay. Well, it's basically the same play call twice. It's just throwing it to a different guy. And Tanner, their big wideout, crossing the middle that time on the screen again. Final minute of the first quarter. Romeo to pass. Tanner. Now looking. Hurley stripped. Could we have another one again? We do. Curitan. I have an aching headache. What's the prescription? What's the Curitan? A turnover, baby. A turnover. Just when they're down and out, this defense continues to find the way. Well, he stripped him. He was looking for Tanner, like I said, but he stripped Hurley. Curitan stripped him and then picked it up. Wow. That's getting revenge right there in a big way because they gave Romeo a lot of gifts on that drive. Can the offense do something with this now? They send Devon Washington in motion. Give right up the middle. Might be Lynch. That's actually Colin Vandy, number 5 there. Anyway, last week, Port Huron dominated Warren Mott 34-14. As you see, we're in the final minute. Maybe we'll talk about the dominance in the Warren Mott game here in the second quarter as we see the final 20 seconds now of the first tick away. I don't think they're going to call a play. That's going to do it. Very, very exciting first quarter. Battled the defenses, as I said, beginning of the broadcast. So far, you got to think the momentum favored Romeo, but after this turnover, which I said the Big Reds so desperately needed, and the Red Wrath got another one. How about it, folks? This is going to be one heck of a game. Come on back. Big D back in a skosh. Football season is my Christmas. I already have my 2 front teeth, so all I want for Christmas is a Big Red Mac White Championship tonight. We'll see if Santa Claus is listening. Welcome back, folks. Derek Work, the Big D, CPHS Channel 6 from Memorial Stadium. If the Big Reds win, they will have the outright Mac White Championship. Romeo wins, we still have next week to decide it, but we're not thinking about that right now. Sanderson, off play fake, he's going deep to Tremaine Lee. Overthrows it at the 35, but he's double covered as well. And someone from up top of the booth slamming down his feet. Loud bump. There's Sanderson. Well, they're really trying to pass the ball. So really, scouting report is accurate. Not really sure if Romeo is surprised by that fact. But I think they had to expect this. Simply because they believe the Big Reds are thinking they want run. Or they want to defend that. Anyway, Parents' Night again. Happy Parents' Night to you and yours. 4 wide this time. 3 bunched on the far side. Low snap. Sanderson picks it up. Way overthrows this one. Almost hit the crowd. Look out down there. Lee was open. If you're overthrowing Lee, you're overthrowing. You're going pretty high with your pass. But a low snap can sometimes rattle the QB because he realizes he's losing time on the pass rush. So the punt now coming. Kleba standing about his 18. Romeo's defense so far looks about as sharp as the Big Reds. Although Romeo has moved the ball a little bit, it's the turnovers that the boys in red are causing. Still creating havoc on these Mac White teams. Kleba, another boomer if he gets the bounce this time. And he does get the bounce in the nice roll inside the 30 to the 29 and downed by Devon Washington. Anyway, talking again about that Warren-Mott victory a week ago, 34-14. Big stat of the game, Mott, 24 carries, just 60 yards last week. Mott just 148 total yards of offense. And their Mac Red, that's simply dominating. Devon Washington really the key to the game, 101 yards rushing, 19 carries. But he pumps up the Big Reds because of how, I think, hardcore he is. Washington a 3-yard and a 7-yard touchdown in his own right. Mott, an early TD off an early Big Red penalty, but Zach Kleba, huge fumble recovery that he almost took the distance, tying the game, and it was a big difference as they punched in 7-7. It could have been 14-0 Mott at one point, but they never looked back after that one. Tanner on 1st and 10 here, gets through the hole. Look out, good wheels, brought down. Nice tackle by the Quaid man, 31, and fortunate he made that tackle. Tanner almost broke loose after a gain of 11. And if he avoids Croce there, he could have been gone. There was no Big Red back. So, getting a little scary right now. Romeo moving the ball out past the 42. Here's the replay again. Well, they send the leading back as the blocker. Tanner around the outside. There you see Croce did just bring him down. That's a good tackle. And it could have been 6 points. Saving tackle there. So good to have the Quaid man on your team. From the 41, 1st and 10. Option pitch again. Shyman lowers through, gets 5, maybe 6. To the 45, maybe the 46. So thus far, time of possession owned by Romeo because the Romeo defense is doing the job. Tremendous. There you see the other side. Public address announcers over there. Anyway, last week, Sanderson Jr., 16 for 88 on the ground. Only 5 for 9 for 81 yards and a pick in the air. But, as always, he got the W, and that's all that matters. He did have a 7-yard TD on the ground, though. Big Reds thumped Warren Mott, 34-14. So far in this game, it's tough. It really is. Outside, Romeo caught, hammered right at the catch. Not before a first down, though. Tayson Winters taunting a little bit. 6 the catch, though, and the first down first by John Hubeck. Colin Vanny got extended playing time last week, and it was nice to see. Caught a 7-yard touchdown pass, and the place erupted when he did. It was also nice to see Bruce Hudson get in the end zone, a 19-yarder from Sanderson. All told, 48 carries, 224 rushing yards for Port Huron. Passing 88-81 for Mott, but that meant very little. It was as dominating a game as I've ever seen the Big Reds have over super competition. One of the best wins ever, without a doubt, I would say, at this stadium, over a Mac Red club. From the 47, 1st and 10, the crowd is loud. The give, straight up spin move, Shyman, another spin, gain of 9. And really, it looks like Romeo is doing what they want right now. Getting holes. The one thing the Big Reds are trying to do is continuously strip Romeo with a football. It worked once. Can it work again? They might need turnovers all game long the way this Romeo offense is indeed operating. And it's not a big shock to me. They are a hungry football team. This team, they think they're better than 3-3, and I would agree with it. But the most important stat of all, 2-1 in the Mac White. Shotgun, Hurley, the give, Shyman, up, down, close to the first, and I think he's got it. Lawrence Brown, one of the gentlemen making that tackle. Wardlow as well is down there. And did he get a bad spot? I think he might have got a bad spot here. They're calling 3rd down and 1. News to me. I thought he got at least to the 41. Well, the 42 maybe. Well, they're saying this ball's back on what, the 44? If I'm Romeo, I don't like that mark. But they're officially saying 3rd and 1 at any rate. 3 wide. 2 on the far, 1 near, and 1 back as Hurley operates from shotgun again. It's a fake, read option, look, dives forward, met Wardlow, but still got yardage. Pass through the 35 to the 34, and another first down by Romeo. They are just eating the clock right now with time of possession. And you kind of get the thought that maybe, just maybe, 7-0 is a comfortable score for them, the way their defense is playing. There's the Suds. Always a smile, always happy to work for CPHS, and especially for Carl. There you go. Second quarter, 8:34 left in it. Big Reds tied with Romeo. Nothing. Romeo driving, though. They have owned the clock. They've owned time of possession. And a flag here. We'll see what this is all about. Romeo is clapping, and Coach Mullins is arguing, so that can't be a good sign. Well, prior to the snap, penalty here on the Big Reds. So forward goes Romeo yet again. Well, again, it's a case of the Big Reds just need to settle down. I really thought momentum was going to change things after that big turnover. Well, the bench has an unsportsmanlike call against them. The coaching staff, somebody over there said something the officials did not like, and they got flagged for it, unsportsmanlike conduct. And all of a sudden, 1st and 10 from the 20. Well, what they're doing right now, it's clearly not working. They've got to adjust. Plenty of time to do so, though. Shotgun, here's the 3-wide look again. 1st and 10, ball mark 20. 8 and 15 ticks to go in the first half. No score. Hurley again. Give to the outside. Shyman is brought down here, and brought down hard here. Wardlow among tacklers. Trevino as well. And finally, Romeo has a running play stopped for a loss after basically on basic running plays on this drive. They've done what they wanted. Finally, the Big Reds get pressure in the offensive backfield, and they do the job. Loss of 4 at 2nd and 14. Same look. They came out in running formation. Since then, they've been more spread out a little bit. Hurley gets the pass rush, airing it out deep. It's a one-on-one. Tanner and Iwanski, but he overthrew Tanner and got decked in the process. Hudson got a piece of him. And that'll bring up 3rd down. Isolation play on the outside, basically. Tanner and Iwanski go for the jugular. Tanner's a really good-sized kid, too, by the looks of things. Listed as a junior. He's going to have a nice future. Listed actually on here as a defensive lineman. Boy, are they way off with that one. They were the instant favorite coming into the season, though. Romeo was, to win the MAC White, being as they moved down from the red to the white from last year. But they've got work to do to win it. Not just winning this game will get it for them. If they were to win, they'd have to win next week, too. 3rd down. Pressure in his face. Somehow he gets the pass off. Almost picked off by Croce. I don't know how Hurley got away from the pressure in the first place. Kind of danced around a bit there. Ended up throwing a wobbly pass. And it'll bring up 4th down. So the Big Red D holds again. But it makes you certainly wonder. If the offense can't move the ball, are they going to start to get tired at some point? They're going to try a 41-yard field goal. No chip shot at this level, that's for sure. Number 3, Andrew Bering. From 41 yards, the snap placed down, it's up, and he got it. Yep, that's a nice job. Well, it pays to have a good kicking game, especially at the varsity level. Romeo shows why. They jump on the board early, 3-0. Bulldogs. Derek Work, the Big D, CPHS, Channel 6, the Port Huron Area School District television station, EBW.TV, and Vimeo.com. 7:10 left in the second. Good stuff, by the way, public address announcer. Giving us a nice little shout out here, and that's good stuff. He's even saying the Big D. Cheers to that, man. Cheers to that. As the Cub comes into the booth. So polite. That's the thing. That's what I appreciate about the Cub. Last week, the Ox was doing this. Carl was doing this. They don't shut the door, but the Cub, he always shuts the door, he even knocks. Anyway, this game so far, not a big shocker. Romeo comes out, defense versus defense. But a big key all along is going to be how this Romeo offense continues to run the football. They're going to eat up clock. They're going to tire out the Big Red defense. That's their recipe for success. For the Big Reds, it's simple. You got to move the football in your own right. Big D, CPHS Channel 6, and that, folks, is the Cub. And he did shut the door, and that's good. There you go. Anyway, let's get nasty, Port Huron. Big Reds have got to get going offensively. Devon Washington from the 5, now 10, 15. Stutter steps, 18, down 19.
Devon Washington on the return for the Big Reds.
Both Detroit papers had Romeo listed as the favorites this year going in. So it's not a big shocker. I think what is a shocker, though, is 3-3 and 2-1 in the Mac White. I said that earlier. When they lost to Anchor Bay, though, they left the White wide open, and it's our Big Reds who really have not looked back. They won last year's first-round playoff game over Lake Orion, 24-21. In that game, Hurley, 27 for 38, 296, and 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. This is a fake. Sanderson getting some yardage. Nice job by him to avoid tackle, using the stiff arm and getting down to the 23. Decent yardage on first down this time as they're doing anything to get the defense a rest now. Romeo has made the playoffs. Listen to this. An unbelievable 10 straight seasons. 10. Coming into this one, Port Huron, the only team to be 3-0 in the white. We talked about it. Romeo, closest to them at 2-1. Thus, if the Big Reds win this game, they will be the Mac White champions. If Romeo wins this game, they won't be. But it will come down to next week. We've said it enough so far. Big Reds control their own fate, their own destiny. That's how you want it. But so far, man, tough to move the football on this Romeo defense. That proved it right there. Sanderson partially tripped as he fell, tried to fall forward and get extra yards, but I think he lost. And it's now going to bring up another big third down play. And Romeo doing a good job right now, too, I should also add, of keeping the crowd quiet. There's a lot of people out there that would say, well, Big D, it's just a varsity crowd. You know, it's only one side of the field. This is a loud varsity crowd on one side of the field. I'll tell you that. Playing here is definitely a home field advantage. They almost jump. Bobby Wright gets the catch. 30. Depends where they mark it. He's right there and right on the money, it looks like. I tell you, that's a heck of a tackle by Romeo there. And I don't know if Coach Mullins would want to go for this. Well, they're going to call a first down. Okay, good. The initial spot by the referee on the sidelines here, I was beginning to wonder, but yes, Bobby Wright, the price is right. He got out of bounds. And first down, Big Reds. So Big Reds again now. Wright and Lee, tightly positioned, right at the 30. They operate. Shotgun look, Devon Washington spins out of the way. Tries to lower through after a gain of 1, maybe 2 tops. The one thing about the Big Reds offensively, they are pretty much all power. They don't really have true blue game breakers. They have guys that can do it, but not at a consistent basis. Those types don't grow on trees anyways. But it's more a power offense. And when you get up against a power defense, it's one up front. That's why you've got to move the ball offensively, because your D can get tired real quick. Sanderson Jr. outside. Caught Tremaine Lee, jumped up to get it. But that's exactly where you want to put it. Not quite at the sticks. It's going to be third down and short, but that's a lot better for the Big Reds. If they're going to give you that pass, if they're going to give you Lee without man-to-man bump and run, you go to Lee. Lee and Wright both check out now. This is just going to be a pure power set here. Going to lean on 44, the Raven again. He lines up left side. Heavy on tight end. Hudson this side. Power backs. Play fake. Sanderson goes through, yes. First down, Big Reds. when you have this kind of a power look and a power game with play fakes and just straight up the middle, it makes for a quick game. Already 4:13 to go in the first half and second quarter. And it's a low-scoring game generally because you've got no time on the clock. And as slow as they're moving the football right now, the clock will become a factor. So knowing that, you have got to keep your timeouts. You've got to respect the timeouts too. Use them wisely in this situation, as we're now at 3:50 to go in the first half. Fake again. Sanderson Jr. steps up this time. Avoids tackle nicely. They get the block. Sanders into the outside, and he's just tripped up. After a gain of 5, he would have had about 15 to 20 had they not made the tackle there. 84 might have saved something huge. Mitchell Heimbuck. Because without Mitchell Heimbuck making that tackle, making that play, Sanderson Jr. is shot down probably the right sidelines. And then he would have had a ton. Here you see it's a great job by him to avoid tackle and avoid the sack. And there you see blockers just standing there kind of. Good job by Romeo to adjust to that. And that is a great foot tackle. Absolutely. Grab the feet, slow down momentum. Second down, they set up the screen. Devon with blocking. Cuts to the center of the field. Dives 45 and 44. First down, Big Reds. You want Devon Washington in the open space. Not that he's a huge game breaker, but you know when he's cutting the ball up, he's got game-breaking ability because he breaks tackle. He'll drag you. That's extra yards. It might not be 6, but it's extra yards. A very impressive drive for the Big Reds, but time is running out on them. 2:50 now to go. They're not panicking because of the 3 timeouts. Boy, to punch in here would be huge. What a momentum swing at the half. 2 wide again. Wright lining up behind Lee. Passing shotgun, Sanderson outside. Great catch, Bobby Wright jumping up to get it at the 38. That's a great one, baby. Oh, that's all hands right there, and that is sweet. Always right, never wrong, because the price is right with Bobby. There you go. Gain of 6. That clock continues to tick. Wright did not get out of bounds. That's the other thing now. Do you run more pass patterns to get out of bounds? Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. That's all hands right there. And one heck of a vertical, might I add, which clearly Wright gets from basketball. They're going to need these guys tonight, though. You're not going to beat Romeo on the ground. They can match your power. You're going to need to throw the football. Power game again. Devon straight up. Down. Should be enough for a first down, though. But you're starting to see something on this drive. You're starting to see the Big Red offensive line answer the call. It took them a while in this game. They're starting to get a little bit of push, though, against, let's face it, line play that matches you in terms of physical, in terms of talent, in terms of aggressive play. They're going to have a measurement here. Stoppage in play with 1:37 left in the first half. Big D, Derek Wark, bigdsports.info. I blog about all the games I do play-by-play for. First down, Big Reds. And although I won't blog about that chain measurement there, impressive job. They move the sticks again. This has been a great drive. It has. But you got to wonder when they're going to panic a bit here. 3 timeouts. But 1:37, clock is not their friend right now. They're going to have to start using them. And again, does it come down to pass patterns that you run to get outside, to get out of bounds? We'll see. Devon in motion, play fake with him. Going to go deep this time. Sanderson to right, no, overthrows. The good thing about Sanderson Jr. throwing all these deep balls, he's getting practice throwing the deep ball. And that is never a bad thing at his age. He's got as bright a future as any quarterback. And you know what? I said it when Chapman came along. I didn't think the Big Reds could do it without Justin Black. And even this year, I didn't think they could do it without Beadler. But you know what? Sanderson Jr. has stepped in, and he's made a believer of the Big D because he wins. Shotgun, 2nd and 10. Good block. It's a play, caught Lee, down Lee. Should be right there again, enough for a first down. If not, It'll be 3rd down and inches. He's right there. It's going to be another measurement likely. Either way, Big Reds call timeout. Well, they better get off the field here. Okay. Well, half of them didn't know it was a timeout. The offensive line was ready to go, but it is officially a timeout. And I'm surprised they couldn't get some kind of a timeout here first for a measurement. I know it's close over there, but can you not get a measurement on that, even if you don't have it? That would stop the clock. I guess not. Anyway, 3-0. That's it, folks. Romeo, 3. Big Reds, nothing, but the Big Reds getting close to the red zone now in a very definitive drive.
Please do so by refraining from negative yells or comments directed at athletes, coaches, fans.
Big Red fans all over the place. There's the Big Red coaching staff up there doing their thing. Varsity and JV coaches all around this booth, up top, next to me. And Father of the Raven up there. There he is, yep, next to the Bloodhound. Don't know if he communicates with the Bloodhound very much. I don't know if you can communicate with the Bloodhound very much, but he's up there anyway. Well, the Romeo Bulldogs opened the season with a 28-20 loss to the Oxford Wildcats of the Oakland League of their red division. So that was a tough one. We'll talk more and more about Romeo and their schedule as well, and how they're 3-3 at this point. A lot of interesting MAC White games in their own right, too. It looks very similar to the results of the Big Reds. Well, another timeout here, so we'll run that down again. Romeo was 0-2 after Grosse Pointe South hammered them 35-14 September the 6th. I said earlier Anchor Bay beat them. That's wrong. Grosse Pointe South did. 35-14. They then had back-to-back shutout wins. This seems very familiar, doesn't it? Our boys back-to-back shutouts as well. Over both Utica and Utica Ford, 28 and 19-0 respectively. September the 26th, they kept their winning ways alive as they hammered Lance Cruz 35-7. Cruz, I believe, of the blue. They lost to Dakota last week 28-19, but come on, everybody's losing to Dakota these days. I guess the shocker there is how badly Grosse Pointe South walloped them. And that has a direct effect in this game. Because if they'd have beat Grosse Pointe South, this game would probably be more about the MAC White Championship than simply saying it's about the MAC White title for just the Big Reds. Again, if the Big Reds win, they win the title. Romeo wins tonight, we've got to wait another week. So there's a lot on the line in this football game. And right now, Romeo up 3-0. 3rd down and short for the Big Reds. This is definitely with 2 timeouts, 2-play territory. I would say without question. 3 wide now. Shotgun look. Oh, they're going 4 wide. Empty backfield. Now Devon in motion. Play fake. Sanderson Jr. cuts. 1st down and a ton more inside the 20 to the 19. Big Reds on over that one. Mitchell Heimbuck on the tackle again for Romeo, but not before. Big Red 1st down. Continue to move the ball. Still have 2 timeouts. Late to set this play up. Now the clock resets itself and they say wind it up. Fake again, Sanderson middle, tipped, and it's picked off at the 5. Tanner again, 15, 20. Look out, got to get over there. 29 and out of bounds. Well, it wasn't directly intercepted, but the tip right in 21. Bradley Tanner's hands, man, that's a killer. Because it's a fantastic drive by the Big Reds there, and instead, nothing to show for it with 53.8 to go in the first half. They're sure having the Cubs stand here for quite some time behind me. Yeah, there you see, pass intended for Tremaine Lee. That's great defense. That's awesome stuff because you've got coverage behind Lee and in front of Lee where the tip happened in the first place. 53.8. Is Romeo going to open this one up? Are they going to try and move the football? They have 2 timeouts as well. To pass, Hurley, screen look again. Met right there, though, and brought down by Dominic Trevino. Trevino sees that screen is set up, and you should see how he took off early there. Took right after the wideout before he even made the catch. That's how you do it. That's how you prepare to not only get to the tackler, to make it. I tell you, Trevino, he's kind of a talent all by himself. He really is. There you see, went right after him. And basically at that point, it's the nose tackle against the tight end. Pound for pound, speed for speed. This is going to be the last play, I think, of the first half. Tripped up here. Shyman, he gets all these yardage, but half of it they let him have just to get that clock run down. And I think Romeo, are they going to call a timeout here? Of course it stops to move the sticks. We'll see if they choose the timeout first. If they do, they've got to really snap this one quick. Well, now the clock is rolling. They're just going to eat it and say that's the half. So, after one half from Memorial Stadium, a low-scoring game. The battle of defense versus defense so far favors Romeo, but we'll see. It's going to be a hard-nosed second half. Come on back with the Big D. CPHS Channel 6, EBW.TV, back with the third. On the flip side, so far, defense versus defense for the Mac White. See you in the third.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your halftime entertainment, the MSBOA Division I rated Big Red Marching Machine. Big Reds are under the direction of Scott Jones. This evening they present elements of the show titled Heart of a Big Red, featuring songs that embody the traits common to Big Reds everywhere. The band opens tonight with the power of Earth, Wind, and Fire's In the Stone. Drum majors is the band ready. Band take the field. Next, the band presents a beautiful ballad that represents the shared bond between Big Reds with You'll Never Walk Alone, followed by an exciting percussion interlude that captures the spirit of Port Huron High School. Tonight, the Big Reds welcome members of the 8th grade class from our local middle schools who are joining us for our annual middle school night. Schools represented are Central Middle School, directed by Shauna Manhart, Fort Gratiot, director Kate Fox, and Holland Woods, directed by Mike Yaros. Tonight, the combined bands invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy a little Latin feel as they play a spirited version of Malagueña. about another hand for our 8th grade students? The Big Red Marching Machine needs your help. Come support the Marching Machine tomorrow by test driving a new car. Tomorrow from 8:30 till 2 p.m. at Kaywood Auto on Pine Grove Avenue in Port Huron, Kaywoods will donate $20 for every person who will test drive a car. You may not know that the Big Red Marching Machine is almost entirely privately funded, so we could use your help. If you're a licensed driver, please join us tomorrow at Kaywoods and help us raise money for the Big Red Marching Machine. Following tonight's game, the Big Red Marching Machine will again take the field for our post-game show featuring the red and white block and the playing and singing of the alma mater. That's right after the game tonight.
Do you like defensive football, folks? Well, whether you do or whether you don't, that's what we've got right now, tonight. Derek Work, the Big D, CPHS Channel 6, EBW.TV from Memorial Stadium, where it's Romeo Bulldogs 3 and our Port Huron High Big Reds no score. Really a defensive dominating first half. Time of possession is going to become critical, not just because the offense might move the ball a little bit, but which defense will get tired. We're not worrying about getting tired right now, though, Big D. What are we worried about? We're worried about let's get nasty. Port Huron underway. Opening kickoff, second half. They fake the reverse, 15, now 20. This is Tanner again. Down, lowered, 21. Quade Croche on the tackle for the Big Reds. And out comes Romeo's offense. See if any adjustments are indeed made. Well, the passing game, that's what the Big Reds went to in the first half, and they had to. I called it right beginning of the broadcast. They had to get Tremaine Lee and Bobby Wright going on the outside. If they didn't, it would be a long game because Romeo came in hungry to stop the run. And that's the way you have to play the Big Reds. You have to force them to beat you on the pass. Romeo was doing that all first half long. But the sad thing is, the Big Reds were starting to move the ball a bit before that last deflected interception. So I think they could have very easily tied this game or punched in even, but a huge play for Romeo almost right at the break, and it's a different story. Still 3-0. They have the ball to start with. End around on the handoff. Good yards, 5, 6, maybe 7 out near the 30-yard line. Among tacklers staying with him there, Jordan Curitin, who has a huge turnover in this football game. If Curitin doesn't make that play back in the first quarter, one of the first drives of the game, and believe me, there hasn't been many drives in this game. If he didn't make that play, who knows what the score would be right now. That's how critical it was. There's some of the Big Red fans. Nice crowd on hand tonight, and why wouldn't it be for the Romeo Bulldogs? Again, moving down from the red to the white. The red is great competition. I'm sure nobody's really volunteering to move up from the white to the red, although Lance Cruz North moved from the blue to the red, and I could not believe that. Props to them, but is that too much? As we see handoff here, close to the sticks. Among tacklers for the Big Reds, Raven Randall. The lamp that lights over you casts the shadow on the floor. Quote the Raven, nevermore. Quote the Raven, nevermore. But a first down for Romeo just at the first down marker. Special teams might end up being critical in this football game because in a close game like this, you can't really say the offense is as critical, but you know what? Great kicking by Romeo, a 41-yard field goal. That was no, chip shot field goal. They got it down. They nailed it. This Andrew Bering pass, middle, not much. 7, Trevor Atkinson. I believe his first catch of the night. So special teams certainly a factor, and so far, I would say Romeo winning the special teams battle simply because they have a field goal and the Big Reds don't on this Parents' Night, and happy Parents' Night, folks, to you and yours watching this one again. Well, the Big Reds in their schedule, August the 29th, they lost, hosting Martin Luther King 22-10. The Big D, unfortunately, was not in attendance for that one. Their only loss coming into this one so far, and the first time really that's been threatened all year since. Tanner, end around play, but they eat it up for lunch. That's what I'm talking about, Red Wrath. Malik Mason talks a bit while he's at it. Sets up 3rd down and long. So critical in a close, tight game like this. You cannot allow any running yards, any rushing at all, because that's easier yards. Make them pass to beat you. Romeo, though, if anything, minus that Big Red drive to close out the first half, Romeo has been moving the ball probably as convincing as any team has on the Big Red D all year long. 3 wide again. Shotgun, 1 back, as we've become so accustomed to for Romeo. Tanner went up to get the ball. And he got the first down at the 45. Good hands. Well, that's the easy pass for the QB, but again, if you know you have a wideout that can go up and get it, that's what you do. Because that's really the hardest play to defend. Height like that. That looked like it might not have been his first option, but he looked that way second to Tanner. And why wouldn't you? This Tanner, so far, all he's been hyped to be in more for the Romeo Bulldogs as they show 4 wide look again. Kleba shows blitz. Now he's backing off with Mason. Shotgun. Hurley looking. Here comes Curitin. Somehow he got rid of that ball. I don't know how. Incomplete, nonetheless. Intended for 6. John Hubeck again. And it's 2nd down. Very fortunate and good concentration by Hurley. Big Reds in his face. Curitin among them. Usually when an end or a lineman just flat out, they come at you like that. It looks like they've been untouched. And really there, I don't think anybody paid attention to Curitin. You're asking for it if you don't watch him. Well, all 4 of them up front. From Hudson to Trevino, Brown. And of course, Jordan Curitin. The cure for common football. Immediate give, Scheinman again busting forward around right tackle. And that'll bring up 3rd down, about 4, as he's just out past the 50 to the Big Red 49. There's a little guy loving his popcorn. Thus, he's loving life. I guarantee you, all that matters to him at this stage is popcorn. So no complaints from him. Past his bedtime, though. Anyway, the rest of that schedule. They beat Anchor Bay September the 5th, 35-0. Doubled the shutout streak September 12th at Ford, 31-0. And then they beat Grosse Pointe South on the 19th, 37-22. Hurley again. Outside, this time through the hands of Tanner, and that brings up 4th down. And what is Romeo going to do? See, this is the thing. If you have supreme confidence in your defense and how they've played, you don't mind punting this ball away to the Big Reds because they haven't proved they can score on you yet. 2 important men for Port Huron High right there. They don't look the happiest, but they don't look the saddest either. Kind of in between so far. That's fine. Here's the punt anyway. Romeo. Pretty high one. He's going to get decked. Did Devon jump on that ball or did Romeo? This is a gift inside the 10. If it stands, it does. Unreal. The Big Reds were caught between a fair catch and letting it go, and they did neither. First and goal, Romeo. What did I say at the beginning of this second half broadcast? Right, just a moment ago. It seems like 5 minutes ago. Special teams are going to win this football game. Bingo.
Once again, the winning number 905.
You cannot make mistakes and beat a team like the Romeo Bulldogs. You can't give them field position like this. And now a lot is being asked of the Red Wrath defense. And really, if they punch in and get 10 here, it's not the defense's fault. Shyman met hard, dropped hard. Kleba, a nice tackle. And now if you're the Big Reds, you got to think, if you can get out of this with a field goal, you're pretty lucky. Far from that now with a couple plays left. Anyway, the win versus Grosse Pointe South, that was a real entertaining game. And Grosse Pointe South actually moved the ball on the Big Reds, something at that stage I had not seen yet. September the 26th, the blowout of Roseville. Shockingly last week, the Big Reds blew out Warren Mott. 34-14, I talked about it earlier. The Big D was wowed. And the Big D is not always an easy character to wow. Tonight, of course, we're hosting Romeo. Next week at Utica. And then October 24th, big rivalry game against Port Huron Northern. Get your popcorn ready. Hurley throwing end zone and caught. Tanner, touchdown, Romeo. He seemed open to me, but wait a minute. Flag on the play in the offensive backfield, and it is holding Romeo. Well, the Big Reds need any break they can get right now after that horrible turnover, and we might have just gotten it. Here's a look at it again. We'll see. Well, you can't really tell from there. It was thrown right at the line, or even deep in the backfield, to be honest. Big Red players want to know from Coach Mullen, should we decline this? But now they're going to take it. You need to work with some field here, definitely. So, going to be second down. It's still second and goal. Ball marked at the 24-yard line. If you're wondering, this kicker they have for Romeo, this Andrew Bering, good leg. The only difference in this game, 3-0, a 41-yarder. Can Romeo capitalize on the turnover, or can the Red Wrath do something about it? They break through. Curitin hitting him again, but here comes the wideout on the run. Well, they're going to get called for a horse collar. Wardlow grabbed him from behind, took his jersey down. Trevor Atkinson. 15 more, folks. Half the distance, first and goal again. And actually half the distance, okay, they can still get a first down technically before scoring. First and 10 from the 13 is what they're going to say here when play resumes. That's a huge play. It really is. Because they go from second and a long 24 to this automatic first down here. Okay, now they're walking up with it. Check that. It will be first and goal. Officials trying to make up their minds right along with the Big D here. First and goal from the 7. Or are they saying second down? Okay, second and goal from the 7. Well, they've changed their mind 3 or 4 times on the field. Anyway, 6 and 22 to go in the third. Still 3-0 Romeo, but knocking on the Big Red door. Big Reds need another turnover. They've been the masters at getting turnovers at opportune times. Can they do it again? Hurley passing. End zone dropped. Well, he was open. Hard to defend all wideouts with shortened field as Atkinson in and out of his hands. And now comes the play of the game. Third down and goal from the 6. If you're Romeo and you don't get this, to me it's a very interesting decision. Because the points matter in this game. But look at where your field position is. I honestly think you may consider going for it, just if nothing else. Look at the field position the Big Reds have. The offense has sat out for a while coming off the turnover, and they haven't really looked sure of themselves in this game. It's an interesting call coming here if they don't get this by the head coach, Jason Couch and Kurt Renus over there. Anyway, huge play, Big Reds. Third down and goal from the 6, and there's a flag. Well, it's offside offense. Well, thank you very much. Oh, they're calling delay of game, I think, against Romeo. Either way, that's fine. I don't care what the call is. They set him back now to the 12. Somebody down there with a Wardlow shirt on, probably his brother, trying to get the crowd loud, up, screaming. And believe me, for a high school crowd, it's loud. The Romeo coaching staff, they can't be happy with this. They got a gift on the turnover, and now they've got to go 12 to punch in. Tanner has been the big wideout for Romeo, as advertised. He's excellent. Are they going to go back to him again? Atkinson recently has been their go-to guy. We'll see. And we got a timeout in the field, and Romeo has called timeout. Does it have something to do with the noise? It might. It very well could, but there you see with 6:06 left in the third. 3-0 Romeo deep inside the Big Reds red zone here. Big D, Derek Wark, CPHS, Channel 6, EBW.TV, and of course, Channel 6 is now on Vimeo. Go to Vimeo, type in CPHS Channel 6 Port Huron, and these games are rebroadcasted on there in their entirety, as they definitely are as well on EBW.TV. And of course here, the television station itself, CPHS Channel 6. Well, at BigDSports.info, I write about all these games I do play-by-play for. And I've said it before. They go, well, why? Why, Big D? You're not paid to write on the blog. Because I got nothing else to do. Yeah, BigDSports.info. I'll recap these games as I saw them from the announcer's perspective. Because, hey, I'm there. Anyway, the crowd has to be there now. 3rd and goal from the 12. 6:06 to go in the third. It's the play of the game. 2 wide far, 1 near, and 1 back. Shotgun look again. Hurley on the rollout. Now looking back. Sets up middle. Pass complete. Decked. Down at the 1. They're not in. Wardlow stopped him, but now a very big 4th down. They needed 12. It looks like they got 11. And are they going to go for it? This is where, right here, if you're going to name a defense, Red Wrath, someone in this defense steps up right now. Fans have got to get loud. This is it. They needed 12 to score. They got 11. Great tackle, Wardlow, and also Kleba. Well, here we go, folks. In a game where points have not exactly come in crazy numbers, nor as yards. Is it a keeper? Cuts, yes, in, touchdown. Hurley, and there's not much you can really do about that because there was no one waiting for him. He gets through the hole. There's not enough field to defend. Now a lot of pressure is going to be asked of this Big Red offense against this Romeo team after this turnover. Let's be honest here. It was a gift touchdown. It shows you how difficult it is to move the ball in this game, though. When you start in the red zone on a gift, and it takes a long time to get in. This was not easy. Lots of sloppy plays, lots of penalties both sides. Extra point this time is through, and, well, they haven't said yet. I believe it went through. Good. I didn't see any sign, but it went through. 10-0. Romeo. So now you're asking something out of this Big Red football team that they are not used to. It happened in the Martin Luther King game, but that was a game where they were fresh and not really expected to win in the first place, I don't think. I mean, nobody wants to play Martin Luther King. They're that good. So this is something now that this team is not used to. Coming from behind. Can they do it? There's plenty of time. This is not a panic situation. You got 5:08 left in the third. There you see the Channel 6 bus. Lots of people wandering around the Channel 6 bus. A lot of them might not even have a clue what that bus is for. But we do. That's for sure. Anyway, these websites again, BigDSports.info, where I will yap about this game. EBW.TV, where again, we rebroadcast the game on, and Vimeo.com. And there, thanks to Bits, Aaron Bitzinger flashing the BigDSports.info website up there. Vimeo.com as well, where you can also access Channel 6 games and other programming And we'll get to the CPHS Channel 6 staff here in just a moment as well. But first, not panic time, but certainly time to start thinking of playing your very best football. And what does it begin with? It begins with Let's Get Nasty, Port Huron. Devon Washington at the 7. Looks like he's got some wheels here. Some wheels, some room. Bumped forward and then dives and gets to about the 22. Seldom do you see 4 bump back like that, and still he kind of goes forward. Anyway, how the Big Reds tick down the clock to end the first half of play. How much clock they ate up. You have to think. They've got to do it right now. They do. They've got to get something on the scoreboard. I've seen some great games here at Memorial. You never know. Sanderson, now the give. Washington tries to lower through, got around 1 tackle, then met hard and downed after a gain of 1. Anyway, Channel 6 staff tonight, camera people, the Vox, not the Ox. He's getting married tomorrow, the Vox, and there he is, Vox Adams. I've never heard of a name like that before, so that's kind of cool, gotta say. And he doesn't really show much expression over there, but yeah, he's having a good time, I think. Suds, Emily Desmond. Do you see how she's turned? She doesn't even want the camera in her face. All we get there is a parka. Anyway, back for more in a minute here. Channel 6 staff. Lynch goes forward. Not a lot again. It'll be 3rd down. Michelle Radford is another one. The Cub with the Big D booth cam tonight, Tyler Smith. Slow-mo cam is the Bloodhound up on the roof, Chris Sorrell. Slow-mo director, big fella in the truck down there, E.J. Shea. And yes, I've never laughed harder than when he rubbed his bald spot last week, and I actually called him out on it. Charming, to say the least. The grip is Mrs. Hornet, Shelley Sinek. Back to more in just a moment here on 3rd down. Sanderson being chased, now the keeper. But he can't avoid everybody, he's going down. It's a sack. Romeo holds again. And I would think the way this game is going, turnovers might be the only thing that might save the team in red. That turnover, though, that they gave him on the kickoff return, or the punt, sorry, that was so critical. Absolutely just killed momentum. Anyway, the graphics girl is Bits, Erin Bitzinger, because bit by bit she does great graphics. Assistant director, although that's not fair, he's on the camera right now. It's crazy Carl Stafford, and he's way, way over there in Never Never Land. The punt, Tanner steps up on the run. They're going to get great field position out of this. Tanner trying to break Quade Croche, trips him up, not before he gets out of bounds. Sub 35, possibly inside the 34 to the 33. And the field position just keeps improving. They're going to mark it on the 30. Wow. They need the defense to step up, or this is going to be a long second half. Anyway, production supervisor is the Green Hornet, Ed Sinek. And I got to say thanks again, Ed. Maybe not a game so far that we love per se, but certainly great, exciting, and always great to call a game where the Big Reds have an opportunity, anyway, to win a trophy of some kind. Tonight they had the chance to win the Mac White. We have a face mask, by the way, on the tackle. So it can't get any worse right now for the Big Reds. Can it? The way they haven't moved the ball offensively, you got to think the momentum is all in Romeo's side. What a killer that turnover was. In a game like this that is so close, 3-0, anything you do that is an error can cost you. It can come back to get you. What really hurt them the most, though, was the 3rd and 12 and Romeo getting 11 on the crossing patterns. They hit Atkinson a couple of times on those throughout the drive. If they don't make that play, it's a completely different story. Forget about the 4th and, the 4th and goal from the 1 score by Hurley. Setting that play up on the crossing pattern, getting 11 of 12, and then going for it on 4th. That really is a play of the game right now. After, of course, the turnover, which for the wrong reasons is the play of the game currently. Anyway, Big D, CPHS Channel 6, 2:53 left in the third. So great job again by the entire CPHS Channel 6 staff tonight. Well, the referee originally called a face mask on the Big Reds, but now they're moving the ball back. Okay, they call it again. They're moving the ball back to place it is what they were doing, and then going forward, they're just going to accept the penalty. Well, they put the ball right back on the 30 where they originally were, so I don't really know what they're doing, but they're having a good time doing it anyway. Again, it's going to take something special from this special unit. Is it going to take magic from Tayson again? Is it going to take the Raven to step up and make a play? Somebody needs a turnover here, and they need it bad. Every time they've needed one this year, they've gotten it. From the 30, 1st and 10 from there. Hurley the give. Shyman spun forward, met hard, brought down by Dominic Trevino. Well, you keep running at 56 and 68, and sooner or later they're going to make the play. That's all there is to it. Clock is starting to be a bit of a concern. Because scoring has been a concern in this football game. 2:20 to go in the third. Again, 10-0 Romeo in a game that has huge Mac White implications. Big Reds win, they win the title. Romeo wins, then they control their own destiny next week. Short carry again, nothing doing. Momentum might have taken him for a gain of 1. Way to stay with that one. Bruce Hudson among tacklers for the Big Reds. And it's almost like Romeo now are saying, well, we have the touchdown. We're just going to keep eating the clock because we believe our defense is good enough in this game. And you know what? I don't blame them. Not one bit. Until I see this Big Red offense move the ball, I would say again like they did at the end of the first half. That was really their only drive of the game where they did anything. I would say Romeo right now can just run the football again. We'll see if they do, though. 3rd down and 8. They're going to pass instead. Hurley looking, no pass rush. Over the middle, it's caught. 10, fumbled in the field. Tayson winners. You got to be kidding me. He got it. Well, I'm speechless, folks. When this team needs it, they get it. That's all there is to it. And it gives them an opportunity, in the very least, to fight back. Wow. He had all day to throw, first and foremost. He hit him over the middle. That's the tight end. And then Quaid Man got him. Strips the ball. Tayson right there to recover it inside the 5. But now we're looking at not the greatest field position, but it's still better than what we had a minute ago. Washington the give. Are they pumped up off the turnover? No gain. Right back where they started at the 2. I can't believe they got another turnover. You know, regardless of how this game continues or how it ends, wow. They keep getting the turnover when they need it the most. But how many times can you keep asking this of your defense? I screamed about that one, but I was shocked about that one in a good way. Here it is again. And watch Quaid Man from the back come up and strip him. Look at that. Perfect. That's a good job right there. Man in motion is Lynch. 2nd down. Sanderson. Tremaine Lee jumps up and makes a great catch at the 18. 1st down, Big Reds. In a game like this, you need the big play. Well, there's one. And it's a huge play because it gives them field position a little bit better. We're just about to the end of the third. It's going to be a fourth where the Big Reds are going to battle back, but they put themselves in this position. So we'll see. There's no need to rush it, and I think they're not. They're just going to let it go. That's the end of 3, folks. From Memorial Stadium tonight, the battle for the Mac White title and supremacy. So far it goes to Romeo. It's Romeo 10, Big Reds nothing. Big D, Derek Wark, CPHS Channel 6, EBW.TV, back to Memorial on the other side. Should be a great fourth. Don't miss it. Remember, folks, this isn't just a show. It's a passion. Derek Wark, the Big D, CPHS, Channel 6. Welcome back to Memorial. A 10-0 lead, the Romeo Bulldogs, over our Big Reds, who have not scored yet in this game in any way, shape, or form. It's a defensive battle. We knew coming in how great this Romeo D was. Sanderson to the outside, gets some yardage first, and a nice job avoiding tackle. Just shy of the 24, maybe right on the 24. So some good yards, or at least half the distance on first. That'll bring up second down. So if they have another big, long, sustained drive here, they've got to punch in this time. That's all there is to it. But we'll see. They've got a long way to go standing on the 24 here. It's a play fake again. Sanderson, nothing. And if anything, it looks like it's not a sack. He might have got maybe no gain. And it's going to be third down. The only thing that is working in this game is going to the wideouts, so they've got to continue to do it. That's all there is to it. And Wright and Lee have proven they can do it. They haven't used Jake Lee in this game much either. They need another big play here again. Romeo showing blitz. Here they come. Sanderson looking that way. No, he's going to eat the sack. Romeo, great defense all night long. 45. Actually, I think it's 46. Dominic Boingiornu. Boingiorno, thank you. Smith, Jones, I like those names. Bongiorno, I apologize, I had to look at that one. Anyway, the punt. Kleba. It's a high one this time, but not real far. Bounces 40. 42. Not bad considering where he was standing. But Romeo, good field position again. This Big Red team, offensively, is just not moving the football this evening. And that's a testament, really, to how well Romeo's been playing defense. They got a turnover a moment ago. It might take the defense to just do it again. I don't know. It may not come from the offense at all tonight. Romeo has shut them down other than the pass. And really, it's to the point now of where you got to start thinking, we've got to use Lee, the Lees and Wright, on a lot of plays. You know, screen passes to Devon maybe. I don't know. Romeo has done an excellent job in this game. Hurley, the give. Scheiman, rocked right there, got 2. Oh, maybe just 1. Trevino on the tackle again. He's been great again in this one. Difficult to really call a player of the game for the Big Red defense because they've all really made a lot of tackles in this game and contributions. It's just that one special teams play. Man, that was huge. If that does not happen, then you never know. You just don't. But the minute a team got a touchdown on the board in this game, that could be the deciding factor. It could. That could have been all it took. Give straight up. Shyman again, nothing fancy, just lowering his body and going with it. Wardlow and Hudson. If anything, to this point, Bruce Hudson, to me, has maybe had his best game on the line. Curitin as well. Those two could definitely be considered players of the game. But everybody on this defense has made plays. A big one right now, and you know what? If I'm Romeo, I would just run this football. Even if you get nothing on it. Well, they're going to do an equipment timeout here, I think. Which actually does not benefit Romeo in any way, shape, or form. Right now, the clock is definitely a critical portion of this football game. Anyway, Parents' Night. You know, you have to look at past years, too, as a little bit frustrating when you look at this game. Because let's face it, the last 2 times the Big Reds have played Romeo, really they could have and should have beaten them. Last year, they outgained them in yardage. This year, yardage has been owned by Romeo, as has time of possession. The year before that, the Neil. But it's 2 games where Big Reds could have easily won it. This is tipped right at the line by Hudson. You got to think he's got to be the defensive player of the game. He's making plays all over the place. And that's 1, and it's 4th down. Penalty marker on the play, though. And if it's against Romeo, Big Reds might decline this. Well, it's against the Big Reds. As I go into a coughing fit here. Well, the sad thing about that penalty is a great play by Hudson was taken aback. Well, Coach Mullins wants to talk to the officials about this one. Depending on what they're calling. If it was some kind of holding or pass interference, you have an argument because the pass was tipped. Well, that's a bad call, I'll tell you, because the pass was deflected. Well, it's a hit in the back, I think. Well, yeah, okay, they called it right there. On Tayson Winters is who it was. Unnecessary roughness, but you know what? You can argue even that one because it's in the process of making the play. I want to see that one more time. You have a right as a defensive back to hit a wideout if it's still in the process of the play. Now, that's a referee judgment call on the catch, or in this case, the incompletion. Well, he hit him, but I don't know. I'm not sure he even knew the catch was dropped at that stage. Shyman up the middle. Look out. Spin move down at the 7. 1st down, and it's going to be 1st and goal for Romeo. Don't forget, Big Red fans, just because Romeo may end up winning this football game, it doesn't mean they've won the Mac White title yet. It would put both the Big Reds and the Bulldogs at 3-1. Correct me if I'm wrong, Romeo would get the go-ahead because of the head-to-head, but it would still come down to next week. Romeo would still have to win next week to win it. But if Big Reds won next week, then they would win a share of it, I believe, still with Romeo. So you never know. Keep in mind, Big Reds need one more win to make the playoffs. If they lose this game, they'd be 5-2, as we have a timeout, by the way, in the field. Romeo called it. So one more win is all the Big Reds need to make the playoffs. And I would think they're in Utica next week, I believe. And then the rivalry game, I like their chances, certainly, of winning one. I would say even both of them. Big D, Derek Wark, CPHS Channel 6. And you notice how it's not a D anymore, so I can't point to the D. I took it off. Why would I keep it, right? Tigers, well, they're done. So are they, technically, but I'll still wear their hat first ahead of the D. But anyway, 8:14 to go in this game. Romeo's defense, it deserves 2 thumbs up. You got to give all the credit in the world to these guys. They've made sure that the Big Reds, a rush-dominating team, didn't succeed with their rush. They make them pass the football, and I think the pass was working. But the Big Reds are certainly out of their game. But the turnover, so critical. I said beginning of the half, special teams play is going to dictate. Special teams play dictated. 10-0, nothing to be ashamed of from a defensive standpoint. These things just happen. And Romeo so far has demonstrated to me they're better than 3-3. In fact, I don't even know how this team is 3-3. 2-1 in the MAC, but that's going to change in the MAC white. First and goal from the 6. Special shout out too to the folks in Romeo who are going to be watching this rebroadcast on their own network. Great to hear about that. You get the Big D up close and personal. The Big Reds and your own Romeo Bulldogs. And to the folks in Romeo, I got to really congratulate you. I mean, your team is playing excellent. They look great defensively. And trust me, just because the Big Reds have nothing to show on the scoreboard, this is a good offense. They've got good, talented, dynamic athletes. So for the Romeo fans watching this, it's not a case of just the Big Reds, having an off night. But your defense has really played a strong game, and you certainly deserve props. You do. Second and goal now from the 6, and I don't know how you're 3-3. To me, you're way better than that. Shyman battles forward, dives, got it. Touchdown. Wardlow, very upset, punching the field. Gets up hurt. 16-0 Romeo. Likely to be 17 with the leg that this Andrew Bering has. Now you look at something. Should this game continue to go this way, you have to look at the Big Reds from a perspective of how they see the rest of their season going and how quickly can they shake this off. As we see the extra point go through, splits the uprights easily. Not to jinx them, but with scoring at such a minimum in this game for the Big Reds, or nothing at all, really, how difficult it's been to even move the ball on Romeo tonight. Is it far-fetched to think they can get 17 points in 7.5 minutes? Maybe. Not going to jinx them, but maybe. So in knowing that, let's say they don't. I'm not saying they will. Let's say they don't, okay? How do they overcome this? This sort of a game can be a wake-up call. It can. It all depends on how much intensity you wake up with. Really, that's what it comes down to. But if you're wondering, holy smokes, Big D, if maybe you just joined us, 17 points have been scored on the Red Wrath? Believe me, they've been gifts, or a lot of them have. Really, the turning point of the whole game was the drop punt. Caught in between calling the fair catch and not calling the fair catch. Touching the ball, all of a sudden Romeo jumped on it. Big Reds fought it as best they could, but from there, Romeo punched in. Let's go. Let's get nasty port here, and they try to catch him on a squib kick. They wait for it, and you know what? I don't like that call at all. I get that you're trying to catch them, but the way your defense is playing, I don't like that. Why squib kick that? Why onside kick that? You're trying to catch him, but at 17-0, the way your D is going, there's no way I'd give the Big Reds to the 48 right now. I don't agree with it. It was too slow an onside kick for starters because that didn't even go 10 yards. If you're waiting for it on the bounce to go 10 yards, didn't work. You want it with the momentum. Where it bounced is okay, but it had no forward momentum. Anyway, Big Red's going 5 wide now. They have to. Sanderson, right in the hands of 12 there. Brendan Salva. And it looked to me like Sanderson Jr. partially rushed this pass a little bit. But it does stop the clock. Parents' night, not a lot to cheer about tonight. Just some turnovers, that's about it. Nothing offensively. Don't want to speak too soon here. Big Red's good field position to start this one out. Sanderson Jr., but do you see this defense? Do you see what they're doing? They're smothering. They're making him believe he can take off and get yardage, but they're circling him. They've got him circled in the offensive backfield, and then they've got him circled past the line when he gets through. Not his fault. This is a great job by Romeo. It really is. The one team on the Big Red schedule that they cannot figure out are the Romeo Bulldogs. And now that they've moved down from the red, it's going to be tough. It really is. Sanderson throws to Jake Lee, a guy who I can't figure out why the Big Reds don't use more often. Inside the 30, 29, maybe 28. First down, Big Reds. And if they want to battle back in this game in any way, shape, or form, it's a passing game now throughout the rest. Can you imagine, though, what Sanderson Jr. is learning from this game as a sophomore? I guarantee you he's improved a ton just by going through the motions of this game. Devon Washington slips through 20, 15, 10, 5, avoids tackle, downed. Right at the 5, maybe the 6. First down, Big Reds. Finally, a hole at the line of scrimmage for Devon. Sticks reset themselves. Clock has not started yet. First and goal, Big Reds from the 5. Can they punch in and at least make this game somewhat interesting, somewhat competitive? Devon goes the other way. Sanderson. Well, actually on the tackle there, they hit him forward to the 2, maybe the 3. 30, a decent tackle. Paul Porth of the Bulldogs. Offensively, you got to think Bradley Tanner of the Bulldogs, offensive player of the game. Not so much in the second half, but the first half, he had some nice plays. Other than that, though, no team has really run the football. It's been a passing game. Devon there a moment ago. Here he goes again. Devon through. No signal yet. Romeo thinks they have the ball. They don't, but the Big Reds did not get in. Third down and goal from what looks to me like inches away. But more importantly for Romeo, the clock continues to tick. And is it Romeo calling timeout now? It is. Romeo calls the timeout. So a little bit interesting here, at least. Romeo timeouts here actually do benefit the Big Reds, to be honest, as they've got all 3 left, and they may need all 3. Yep. Devon Washington there stepped right on the out-of-bounds line, right at the 5. So it was a pretty good position there, pretty good marking by the officials. There you see the cheerleaders. I believe that's on Romeo's side. They've had a lot more to cheer for than we have so far. Basically, the Big Reds have got to punch in here. And then you've got to look to an onside kick, I would think. Although you have all 3 timeouts, at 17-7, do you kick the ball back to them normally and just say, you know, the defense has got us here. Let's see if they can keep it going. This is 2-play territory without question. And you can tell, run all the way. 3 backs, double tight for the Big Reds. Here we go. 5:20 to go in the 4th. Immediate give. Devon, yes! Touchdown, Big Reds. Well, what can you say? It took over 40 minutes of football for the Big Reds to punch in tonight, but they did. They found a way. Great passing on the drive by Sanderson Jr. I got to be honest, Sanderson Jr. for me is probably the offensive player of the game for the Big Reds. Because he's used all his weapons, or at least tried to, and he's tried to make the most out of all he could against a tough, top-notch Romeo defense tonight. And Romeo, to me, is a MAC Red football team. They move down, but to me, they're a Red. They always will be. Miller up. Got it. Well, at least now there's something to cheer for on Parents' Night, but do they have enough time? That's the question. Romeo, to me, has really, kind of done themselves in a little bit and using all their timeouts. Yeah, Devon right there. Found the hole, nothing to it. The Big Reds have all 3 timeouts listed on that scoreboard. Romeo, none. Not that they needed up 10, but you just never know. You always want to leave yourself with 1. If Big Reds can get the ball back, they're in good shape, really. 2 possession territory no matter what, though. And now it comes down to what's Coach Mullins going to do. Is he going to just kick it back to them or onside kick here? I would think either decision is all right at this stage because you've got all 3 timeouts. You can't give them the field position, and really, you're putting the game in the hands of your defense. And that isn't a bad thing, as great as the defense has been all year. But we shall see. Again, it's Big D, Derek Wark, CPHS, the Port Huron Area School District television station, 810-984-6621. That's 984-6621. The number to call for all Request Fridays. Give them a call, tell them what program you'd like to see again on Friday, and they will rebroadcast it. CPHS Channel 6. Also, don't forget some rebroadcasts on the Vimeo site, vimeo.com. CPHS Channel 6 Port Huron. You can see these games in their entirety as they were broadcasted, as you also can, of course, ebw.tv. Boys in red to kick off again. Let's get nasty. Port Huron, and they did kick off. Well, they don't want that ball to go out of bounds, so they're going to take the touchback. Barely, they will, yes. Well, I think it's the right decision by Coach Mullins. You have to, with this much time still left, you have to say, defense, go out there. Because when you have a defense that is this excellent for the Big Reds, and they are, I nickname them the Red Wrath. That tells you right there. You know what they're capable of. You know they're capable of getting big plays, big opportune times, turnover. A turnover right now, like let's say a pick 6. Tayson Winters a couple weeks ago had 3. 3 picks, or at least 2 picks and 2 touchdowns. It can happen. So it's not the end of the world when you put your faith in this defense down 10 like this. But if you're Romeo, you do not make mistakes. That's imperative right now. They have to hold on to the ball. Tanner in motion. It's a bobbled snap. Tanner jumps on it, and he goes down on it immediately, and that's probably smart as a loss of yards. See, that's what I'm talking about. Romeo has got to be careful with this football. There is no excuse for bobbling that snap right there. None. In an area of the field this important at this stage of the game. It's wrong to say if you have to keep kneeling and punting. But that's safer than what we just saw. Anyway, 2nd and 14 now. They save from the 16. 4.5 to go in the 4th. Will the Big Reds have enough time if they get this stop? Play fake again. Tanner, they're airing it out deep. He's open. Caught. 40, 35, 30. No way, Jose. 10-5 by. Touchdown. Atkinson has just put the game away for Romeo. Considering they haven't made that pass all night long, they just said, heck with it. We'll go for the jugular right now. And I love the play call. I really do. And you know what else is great about that play call is that a minute ago, You bobbled the ball. You come back with the same play call or a similar one. That initial play when Tanner dropped it was either to go to him on an end around or to do the play fake to the opposite side. There, they did the play fake to him and then just waited and went boom. That's all she wrote, really. About to be 24/7 now. Really, the only big play in this football game was just made. Well, we're not used to this, Port Huron, but that's fine. Because if you're going to have a game like this, you want it right now. You want the wake-up call. But without question, I know the Big Reds can play better than this. And a testament to Romeo for playing hard from the very word go. I touted this game as a battle of defenses. And for the most part, that's what it was. And that might be the first time all year long I've seen this secondary even beat on a long ball. So, it happens. But again, use this to your advantage if you're the Big Reds. This is your wake-up call. So now they're going to be tied in the MAC White. 3-1 and 3-1. There's nobody else in the White that's close to that. At best, they're going to be 2-2. So next week, really, Romeo will control their own destiny in the White. But the Big Reds can grow from this. It can wake them right up. They can say, you know what? We got to play harder. And that isn't always a bad thing at this stage. It really isn't. And not to take anything away from the Port Huron Northern Huskies and Utica next week, but these are two winnable games. You've got to look at it that way if you're the Big Reds. Anyway, Derek Work, the Big D, CPHS. What more can you say about Romeo? They come out very strong defensively, aggressive, probably the best team the Big Reds have seen up front all year long. Good push, both sides. It's a battle. And finally, Romeo gets the big play, and really off the special teams play and the bomb, it's a game of two plays. And the Big Reds didn't have an answer after the special teams turnover there. But nice to see the Big Reds at least get in for Parents' Night. Devon got in there. What more can be said? 24/7. Congrats to Romeo. They played a great game, and they're the front runners now in the White, unfortunately, for the Big Reds. And bye-bye Cub as he exits. It's just one of those nights, Port Huron, and we're all going to have them. Believe me, we all do. But in seeing this game, how hard they've played, the aggressive, the talent of Romeo, do I think they're better than 3-3? I've said it enough already. I absolutely think they're better than 3-3. They're playing this game like a MAC Red team would. Power up front. Not necessarily bigger or more physical, but they attack that way. On the kick, let's get nasty, Port Huron. Washington from the 10. Now the 15 gets a block, 25, 30, spin move, 32. Not too bad. 4 and 10 ticks left in the fourth. And now if you're Romeo, you allow the Big Reds yards. You do. Because the clock is all that matters. Make the Big Reds use their timeouts. At least if you're the Big Reds, you have 3 of them. And it never hurts you to practice this sort of situation. It doesn't. They're still thinking about a win. Realistically, it's probably not going to happen now. But you know what? Hurry up offense against a prevent, bend but don't break type defense style. It's never a bad thing to practice this, ever. Here it is, 1st and 10 from the 32. Passing again is Sanderson. Now the rollout, batted down and batted away. That's definitely roughing the passer or a late hit, one or the other. And if you do that when you're up 24/7, to be honest, you could argue borderline ejection. I can't believe they did that. Up 17, you don't need to do that. But anyway, case in point. Doesn't totally matter at this point. 15 yards, first down, ho-hum. More of a draw look from shotgun, kind of decided what he's going to do with it. See, it's batted down there. Yeah, he just threw him off the tip ball, which is an incompletion. So you know at that point there's a stoppage in play. See, where they called Tayson winners earlier for that kind of late hit, I'm not completely sure he knew it was a stoppage in play at that time. He might have, but I'm not sure. There, without question, you know. Screen pass set up this time. Devon gets a block, goes with it. Gets about 8. Well, the trouble is they're down 3 possessions. They're running out of time, down 17. There's Coach Mullins. Doesn't he look like John Cena? Yeah, from a distance. Anyway, that means absolutely nothing, and I'm sure you're thrilled to death to hear that. Sanderson gets pressure from the blind side, and he will go down, just barely avoiding the sack. And it's third down as Coach Mullins now calls timeout for the Big Reds. So next week they go to Utica. And I would be shocked if they do not beat the Utica Chieftains. I know it's in Utica, but come on. Romeo shut down Utica. They shut him out completely, in fact. Either 28-0 or 19-0. It was Utica and Utica Ford. They shut them both out earlier. I read that earlier. Big Red's going to Utica next week. I see no reason why they can't still win that game. And again, you don't want to take anything away from the Huskies at all, because they will give the Big Reds everything that they've possibly got. You know Coach Connell is going to come with everything. By the way, tough game for the Huskies tonight in Marine City at East China Stadium, but they're definitely both winnable games if you look at the Big Red side, because the Big Reds are favored in both those games. So I see no reason why this team can't win out from here, go 7-2, get the home playoff game, and then everything's fine. The only thing you can really look at this game and say, well, they didn't win the Mac White. I mean, they can't go into those 2 games and, automatically think it's just going to be a cakewalk, mind you. I'm not saying that, but I would think it's theirs for the taking, the both of them. But you can build from this game. You can build from this loss. That's the most important thing. Man in motion. Washington. It's a fake. Middle. Jake Lee caught. 27 first down Big Reds. And you kind of get the feeling that Jake Lee is open out of the slot 9 times out of 10. Every time they throw to him, it seems like he has the position. Here we go again. 3:24 left in the fourth. 1st and 10 from the 27. Sanderson Jr. to pass. Well, they're blitzing him this time, and they take him down for the sack, Jack, at the 35. And I'm not sure that the Big Reds want to stop the clock now. They got 2 timeouts still. Play coming in from Coach Mullins now. 3 minutes now on the fourth quarter clock. Again, it was Big D tonight, CPHS Channel 6. Wobbly ball thrown to the left too far of Bobby Wright there. To the right, actually, of Wright. No pun intended, the right of Wright. There's some kids having a good time despite the score tonight. They all should be in bed a little bit late on this Friday night, but nobody cares. They don't have school in the morning, so all is well there. Big D got to go up north. Got to wake up at 3 a.m. Yeah, I'll ride 2 hours sleep. That's lovely. But that's what time and a half will do for you, huh? Anyway, again, you're thrilled to death to hear that. Sanderson Jr., sidelines. Lee almost made a dazzling catch. But really, if you're on the right side of the football field and you throw back to the left and sidelines, that's a longer pass than you think it is. That really is. You're throwing that probably 20, 30 yards when it's only really going about 7. Anyway, 4th down now. Might be the last play we see of the Big Reds tonight. They can still stop the clock a few times if they so desire. That's up to Coach Mullins. But we'll see. 4 wide, both bunched on either side, 2 and 2. Middle, caught, Lee, right at the sticks. Do they say he has enough for it, though? It looks like he's just short. Needed 20 and got 19. Oh.
Tanner on the stop for the
That's
Bulldogs.
tough luck, man. It is. He's a yard short. Romeo to take over. Nice pass play. Sanderson Jr., good protection that time. Split the zone nice. There's Tanner again making the tackle, I tell you.
Bulldogs
Strong
take
player.
over now.
And he stands out, this Tanner, because he's a strong athlete first and foremost. Has a pick in the game. Set them up for their scoring drive at 3-0 earlier. But this game was never the same since the special teams drop on the punt. It was never the same. Big Reds did not battle back from that moment. And although they did get a touchdown in the game, they were never really the same in the game. So, but this is one where you kind of swallow your pride, you take a back seat, you congratulate Romeo, and you say, again, here is our wake-up call. What are we going to do with this wake-up call now?
Stop for the Big Red.
Are we going to just, say for the rest of the year we lost to Romeo? Mac White title may not be ours now? No, absolutely not. You swallow your pride and say, we're going to come out and we're going to get Utica next week. That's exactly what you do. There's no reason this team still can't go 7-2. I see no reason why. If you don't think so, somebody tell me why. They just ran into a hungry Romeo team. And in looking at the talent of this Romeo team, they would have lost this game tonight against the Big Reds. Can you honestly see this team being 3-4?
Stop for the Big Reds.
This is not a 3-4 team. It's not a 3-3 team.
Big Back Eater by spotter tonight, Mr.
So,
Keith Line,
no
Keeper,
wonder.
Mr. Keith Crane. Thank you
Anyway,
so much.
timeout on the field. This is Big Red timeout. More or less maybe just to work on things. Parents' night, nonetheless. Again, it's not something you do as an individual. Bo Schembechler puts it best. The team, the team, the team. I mean, that's what it's all about. You win as a team, you lose as one. So you go back to the drawing board, you work at some things. It's a wake-up call, as I said. So there you go. This has been a production of CPHS, again, Channel 6, the Port Huron Area School District television station. On Vimeo.com, I've said it enough tonight. Go on there, you type CPHS Channel 6 Port Huron, and you can see these games as they were originally broadcasted in their entirety, which technically is the rebroadcast of the rebroadcast. Yeah. EBW as well has it. Shelly Cynic listed as a grip here, also for EBW, and she has the Big D Magic box down there. Anyway, QB keeper, Hurley here, third down. Well, he got a lot of yardage here, and it looks to me like a first down. That will officially end this football game, if it wasn't already over, because, one timeout left, and it's a first down.
Boston Brown on this one.
Hurley and the rest of Romeo. But I think the character of this Big Red team will be shown next week in Utica. What team's going to show up there? The team that lost tonight? Or the team there that's as hungry as Romeo has been here? That's a good comparison, I'll tell you, because Romeo has played like they wanted to win no matter what here tonight. And they did. Hurley, keeper again, cuts up. The tackle made by Kleba.
Paul Hurley, the ball carrier.
Another first down, so it is stopping the clock. There you see 1:05 left to go in the fourth, 24-7. Romeo. A 3-0 game at halftime.
Romeo
And we were
first
kind of
down.
all still thinking. Anybody's game, But again, the big turnover. It's been a different second half. And you kind of get the feeling that Romeo never really got away from their game in this one. Especially defensively. They did a great job of defense against the Big Reds. They were prepared. They came in prepared, and you could tell. And the rewards of that. I believe one more play and we're out of here. A 17-point triumph for Romeo Bulldogs. So the Mac White Championship will go to its final week. It has not yet been decided. Romeo, I believe, has to lose next week because these two teams now will have identical records and they will get the go-ahead because of the head-to-head. Anyway, the final score tonight, the Romeo Bulldogs 24, our Port Huron High Big Red 7. Boy, Romeo deserves a congratulatory as they played tremendous. For the entire cast of CPHS Channel 6, I'm Derek Wark, the Big D, from Memorial tonight. Again, congrats, Romeo. You played well. Take care, folks, till next time. And the next time we see the Big Reds and their fans will be the rivalry game, October 24th. Until then, work hard, sleep lots. Big D out.